Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming back and visiting with us on our Evolving Consciousness. I'm Deb Peterson.
I'm Dee Valente.
And today we have a very special guest with us, Patrick Letty, who's also known as Patrick the Angelic Healer. And I just love the name to begin with. I just have to say, it speaks for itself.
It does. And we're really excited to get into this. Welcome, Patrick.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell us, how did you get started? I guess we should start with that.
Well, my story began about 15 years ago when I was still married. My wife took me for my birthday to get a reading done, which I had never had before. And it was in a little place in Venice, Florida. I was very skeptical when I went there because I didn't really believe in the spiritual side of things, believe it or not.
Okay.
So when we went there, they had a board with 9 psychic mediums, and I picked the funniest, goofiest looking person on the board. And his name was Richard Blanchard. He's actually a very famous psychic medium. I had no idea at the time. So when I walked in, he looked up at me and he went, well, what do we have here? And I was just like, oh boy, this is a very strange way to start.
Right.
So he said, take a seat. And he asked me to put my hands out like this. And I put my hands out in front of him and he put his hands over my hands. And I felt this electricity, almost like lightning, pins and needles going between my hands and his hands. So he sat back, he starts laughing. And he goes, did you feel that? I was like, yeah, no kidding. I felt it. What was that? He goes, well, that was you. I was like, no, that was you. Stop messing around. Are we playing Laurel and Hardy? Who's on first?
Right.
So he twisted his head. It was very odd. And you could tell Spirit was talking to him. And then he started laughing again. He goes, you don't know, do you? I said, I don't know what. He goes, you're a healer. I was like, that's great. What's a healer? I had no idea.
What's that?
He goes, wow, you really don't understand. He goes, I'm going to tell you. So that 15-minute reading turned into an hour and 20 minutes.
Wow.
Richard's staff was going berserk. They kept coming in the room going, Richard, we have all these people waiting. He goes, I don't care. This guy is not leaving my sight. So I kind of took it with a grain of salt until the very end when a friend of mine came in that had committed suicide when he was 19. And he wanted to say how sorry he was for doing that and that he wanted to express his love towards me because I was his only friend. So that was my verification from Richard. And I was like, holy cow, I haven't thought about this guy in 40 years. There's no way you would have known about that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So that was my verification. And then I was like, wait a minute, if that's true, maybe that other part of it's true, like with the healing stuff. So I kind of ignored it. And then 3 years later, I wound up getting divorced. And this is the funny part of the story. The day, and I mean the day I left my ex-wife, my hands lit up. They were on fire.
Really?
And I did not know what was going on. They were really hot. I'm like, there's something wrong with me. I don't know. I thought I was getting a flu, but I wasn't. It was source.
Wow.
They were lighting my body up to tell me, hey, it's time to come back to work. And so I have a psychic medium friend of mine. I approached her and I said, look, I'm being drawn towards you. I don't know why. Can you help me? And she said, yes. She says, sit down. I'll tell you what's going on. And she was talking to Source and they were telling her, this guy's a healer. You need to help him. So she introduced me to a place called the Power of One in Venice. And I met Tom Amir, who is long passed on, but he's the one that actually showed me how to use my gifts and how to utilize them. And the next thing I know, I'm working for him for almost 7 years. I worked there as a healer, hands off. I didn't touch anybody. I was always hands off. And so over the years, I became an ordained minister, and this way I could lay hands and put my hands on people. And that's why everything changed. Everything changed when I started putting hands on people because the power and the energy from Source was insane. And it amplifies all the time. I'm in a major upgrade right now. People are taking notice at the DC show I did 2 weeks ago. A lot of people were like, wow, I've never experienced anything like that.
Yeah.
Really?
So it's a lot of fun.
So it's instantaneous.
I have fun doing what I do.
That's great.
Yeah.
And that's what matters, truly. Like we say that all the time. Like this is so much fun.
Yeah. I bet people ask me all the time, like, well, if you have a gift that you have, how could you charge money? Because, Jesus roamed the earth. He didn't charge anybody. I said, you know what? If you support me,
Right.
and you pay for the events, you pay for my hotels, you pay for the
Yeah.
gas. I won't charge anybody. I'll do it for free.
Right.
I'd be
Right.
happy to.
Right. How are you supposed to live? People don't get
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I
But
mean,
I spoke to the source about this, and they said it's okay. We
yeah.
understand you need to charge, you need to make money. So all the money that I do make, it just pays for the next show. That's all it does. We really don't profit. I have other business that I rely on
That's
for my
okay.
Well,
income,
and
but
you
this
have
is the work that I really love
right,
to do.
and you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
And
Right.
money is a man's thing, and so it's a human thing, and so you need it to move forward.
Right.
I think
Exactly.
that anybody that we work with, I always feel like I have to honor them for their gifts and for sharing it, so that they can
Right.
continue doing their works. And
Right. Absolutely.
you should be blessed many times over, so you can
Right.
continue to do
Absolutely.
the incredible work that you do.
Right. And you
Yeah.
go,
I was working with another medium. Her name is Natalie Sutherland. You remember years ago, there was a show, Montel Williams and Sylvia
of
Brown used to come
course.
on
Oh
there.
yeah. Wow. We used to
Yeah.
Oh,
go.
yeah.
We used to go.
Everybody remembers Sylvia Brown.
Right.
Well, there was a medium in Sarasota that did a show similar to this that I went to one time with a friend of mine. And I said, well, if this medium is any good, she'll pick up on me and what I do.
Yes.
So the show's an hour long, and about 48 minutes in, I looked at my watch and I said, ha, she's a phony. She doesn't even see I'm sitting here. And all of a sudden I hear, this is for the gentleman in the back row wearing the
Oh,
angel medallion. I had this angel medallion on,
I love it.
and I almost fell off my chair. I was like, uh-oh, here it comes. And she knew right away.
wow. Well, you put it
She
out
was,
there. I mean,
yes.
Right.
So it was interesting. And the whole audience turned around to look at me and like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
But it was interesting. I got to know that medium and I kept going back to her live shows. And then at the end, she would channel Mary Magdalene. And then Jesus stepped in one day and he wanted to talk to me.
Mhm.
Oh,
And that
full of
blew
virtue.
my mind. I mean, just she was channeling and all of a sudden she stops abruptly and she just went, Yeshua speaks. And he came through and all I saw was this big golden light coming out of her and I could see his face and everything. And
Wow.
I was stunned. I was actually stunned. And he was very upset with me because I wasn't accepting him at that back in those days. And he made a big stink out of it and humiliated me in front of a live audience. And it was crazy. But
Wow.
eventually I accepted him again and he came back through in another show and thanked me. And it was just mind blowing. I've been very close with him ever since. And, that's who I work with constantly.
That's
Awesome.
amazing.
And just to be clear, you are a conduit, right? Explain
Yes.
that to people a little, everybody.
So I get that question a lot. So
Okay.
basically when I lay hands on somebody, it sends a signal up to spirit.
Mhm.
Spirit then decides through your subconsciousness, the person I'm working on, who they're going to send through. It could be Archangel Michael, could be Raphael, could be Jesus himself. It could be anybody.
Right.
It could be somebody's guides that they want to come through. So at the end of a session, I always ask people, so how was it? Sometimes I know who the energies are because I know the difference now. I've been doing this a long time.
Right.
And I'll ask them, do you want to know who that was? I can tell you who it was.
Cool.
And they usually get in a little bit of shock factor, but it's really interesting how it works. There are no two healings are the same. Absolutely never the same. Everyone is different. Everyone has their own experience with me. Some get very emotional. Some go on trips. Some take off on me and I go, welcome back, It really depends. If somebody's got some dark energy in them, I am capable of pulling it out.
Love it.
Like I made a reference to on my website, there is a video testimonial from a Pamela Downing, I think her name is, or Downs. And Pamela said, Jesus came to her 3 or 4 days before this healing. She had no idea she was going to meet me. Nothing
Right.
happens by chance. And that he showed her this clearing of her throat chakra. And then she just happened to meet me at a show in DC and I made it happen.
Wow.
So it's a great testimonial. There's a lot of stuff missing from the testimony. It was a very difficult healing that I did on her. It took a lot of my strength to get that dark energy out of her and completely clear her. But I'm happy to say she is completely cleared now. She's like my biggest fan.
Awesome.
Wow.
I bet. Well, sure.
Yeah.
You were saying it was their throat chakra, and you want to tell us a little bit?
Yeah. And she had this blockage on her throat chakra for 10 years.
Wow.
And she works with healers all the time, and she's in this industry,
Yeah.
and nobody could clear that for her. But when she met me, and I asked her when she got in my tent and got on the table, I said, is there anything in particular you would like me to work on or,
Sure.
look for? She goes, let's just see what comes up. She was testing me.
Yeah, sure.
And as soon as I laid hands on her, I'm like, yep, Houston, we have a problem.
That's
So,
good.
I mean, I can call in people myself. I can call in Christ consciousness if I want to. I just have to ask for them.
Mhm.
And, I called in all the big guns on her because she was a very difficult case. But, the end result was she's happy. I'm happy. And she's free and clear now.
So
That's
Patrick, when you are calling in the entities or you're calling in whoever you're calling in to work with, are they working through you?
Yes.
But you're
Yeah.
still
So
aware of what's
I
going on.
want to first back up for a second. Use your word entities. I do not call in entities. I
Okay.
only call in divine source,
Yes.
which is
Lack of better word.
Christ energy or God's energy, whatever you want to refer to it, but it's always divine energy.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm very, very well protected by them. I don't have to worry about catching anything from anyone or
That's good.
something jumping from one person to me. It's not going to happen. I've been challenged at a lot of shows by a lot of evil and mean people. Let's just leave it at that. But it won't work. They're not going to get to me.
Well,
Yeah,
and by
that's
the way,
awesome.
just so when I said entities, I was referring to Jesus, and I was just
Yes,
gathering the collective together, lack of better word to use, but
correct.
I know that.
Yep, you're on the right track.
Come on now.
But yeah, I have a lot of fun with what I do. I mean, I love helping people. There's nothing more satisfying than having someone walk out of your tent or the room that you're working in and knowing that they're completely healed. I mean, my
It's
other
amazing.
half,
How
her
could there be?
sister had a back injury where she's got a lot of metal in her back. And I've worked on her for about a year now. Finally cleared her back,
Wow.
pain-free. And then her hips started to give her problems. And it took about four and a half healings in. And then she finally texted me the other day and said, I'm walking pain-free. Thank
Wow.
you so much.
Do you think that it took more than one time or that length of time because of the resistance of
Yes.
the individual? Yes. Okay.
Well, not so much the resistance of the individual, but sometimes it just takes, sometimes I even say it, I'm a one and done. Or
Yeah.
other times you have to come back and see me 4, 5, 6 times before I can really get to the root of the problem.
And why is
Miracles
that
take
usually?
time. I don't know. I mean, the
Yeah,
energy
I don't
works in
know either.
different
I was
ways.
just,
Everybody's different. Everybody handles the energy differently. I mean,
Yeah.
there is on these shows that I do, I give back to my community because I love giving back. So I do a one-touch healing program, which is free. It's a live audience. I usually get about 40, 50 plus people in there. Like an example where you met me up in New Jersey, we had a 45 person room.
Yeah.
They put us in 100 person room because they ran out of the small rooms.
Yeah.
Well, I filled that room. And all of a sudden, at the end of that program, the guy came up to me and said, do you realize you had 250 people in this room?
Yeah, I remember you saying that's crazy.
Wow.
So when I
I
started the
unfortunately
one-touch
did not see
healings,
that.
they just came in from everywhere,
Yeah.
both doors.
Well, they're gonna
People,
come, right? That's just
right.
the way it is.
Once I start doing those type of healings, the energy goes everywhere and it goes through the walls, and people just go, "Wow, what's happening in this
Right,
room?"
I have to get in there. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of vendors at the shows, like if they do these private seminars, like in the corner of the building,
Yes.
I had a vendor come up to me and say, "What are you doing in your seminar that there's a line out the curtain and into the venue?" I'm like,
Yeah,
"Well,
right.
that's when I'm on, I'm on. Yeah, everybody feels it." So
Yeah, it's so cool. Well, it's pure, it's
Mhm.
just,
yes,
and that's it. And I think we touched
yeah,
on that a little bit when we were talking.
it's straight up energy. If you want to feel that power, and when people feel it, I mean, I've had people pass out, I've had people go down, I've caught people and have had people fall, and the ones that we have to help back to their chairs, you look at the second person in line and their eyes are bulging out of their head because they don't know what to think. They're like, "Oh my God, this guy just passed out. What's going to happen to me?"
Right, right, sure.
Yeah, but it's safe. It doesn't hurt anybody.
No, of course not.
We're not here to hurt anybody or anything like that. So,
And typically, do you have a typical time on how long the healings take, or it's just different because it's individual?
so
Everybody.
during the shows, we normally do about 20 minutes because
Okay.
it's time constraints. But I literally can do a one touch healing on someone. It only takes, I've got some testimonials where I only touch somebody for a minute and a half and they're cured.
Awesome.
I've got other people like, when I do my private practice, I work out of my home. I have a home studio. We normally do 30 minutes plus. I'm not a clock watcher when I'm at my house. So usually it goes for 30 to 60 minutes. Other people I work on for even longer. It really depends on what the issue
What they
is
need,
and what they need.
Right. And then how frequent they come.
Patrick, are
That's
you
cool.
giving people information along with the healing, or it's just you want to get the work done? And
yes, so I get a lot of people that will challenge me when they come into a tent at a show. And I ask everybody the same question. Is there something you'd like me to address while you're here?
Sure.
And some of them will just go, nope,
Right.
you figure it out. And I'm like, well, challenge accepted. Hop up on the table.
Right.
And usually it takes me a good 5 to 10 minutes sometimes to figure out exactly what's wrong. And then I'll say, for instance, I'll go work on their left knee. And then at the end, they'll go, wow, that was pretty cool. Because I didn't tell you, I just had surgery on my left knee. And you went right to it, So I get a lot of those. And I don't mind the challenge because I have such faith in spirit and what they're doing. It doesn't matter,
Well, they're never wrong. I mean,
my track record is 100%. So I'll tell you a really interesting story. When I started doing the one-touch programs, what I would do is hold someone's hands like this. And as soon as they touch my hands, touch their hands, I would get an instant read on them. It was like a flash from your birth to your present moment in a split second. That's how fast it happens. It's kind of scary when I first started realizing what that was. But I started getting very sick because people were getting the flu, they were getting colds, and they are touching my hands or not washing their hands. So I was getting very sick this past winter. So I asked Spirit, I was like, listen, I am a clairvoyant, but they won't let me use my other clairs because it interferes with the energy. And they're adamant about it. But I was like, listen, we have to do something because I can't keep touching all these people and getting sick. I don't mind putting hands on them, but I don't want to touch their hands. So they finally agreed to let me use my clairvoyance again, which was great because now when I do the one-touch healings, I'm reading 4 or 5 people back. And I'm saying, okay, throat chakra, all right, sacral chakra clearing, I'm already knowing. And when people come up, I go, are you ready? And they're like, yep. I'm like, all right, Spirit's going to light you up right now. And I put a hand right on the heart chakra and these guys start crying. They're in tears because they're like, how did you know? I didn't tell you a word and you put your hand right on my injury. Or, this one guy, he was the last guy in line. He deliberately wanted to be the last guy. And this was in Sarasota at a show. And he goes, I wanted to be the last guy. I was like, well, congratulations, you're the last guy. I said, are you ready? He goes, ready for what? I was like, we're about to light you on fire. And I grabbed that man's heart chakra and he just started bawling. I mean, I thought he was his face turned red. He was shocked. He was stunned. I mean, I got to tell you, Spirit's got a great sense of humor and they love messing around with people. So, especially if Jesus is here, he definitely does.
Did you, prior to this all coming out and you figuring this out, did you have clairvoyancy when you were younger?
It's an interesting question. When I was younger, I always knew that I was protected.
Yes.
I had some kind of special guardian angel, and I found out who it was actually Archangel Michael was assigned to me.
Oh, wow.
I've cheated death about 20 times. I kid you not. I used to be an over-the-road truck driver. I've, missed accidents by inches, all sorts of crazy stories. But yes, I knew I was always protected, that there was something different, but I just didn't know what it was. Until that day I met Richard Blanchard. He told me I was a healer. I was like, what?
That is some great introductory into what's next, because it was
wake up, let's go.
Yeah, just
wow.
Bam.
And then I complained to Spirit and I said, hey, why didn't you tell me this 40 years ago? I really could have made a difference in 40 years, but they're like, you weren't ready yet.
Right. That's so interesting.
Yeah. Everything comes in divine timing.
Yes.
That's right. Is there a bigger picture that you have a goal, or is the individual work just as many people as you can see?
Well, they keep telling me I'm here to heal the world. So
yeah,
we'll
that's
see.
What we talked about. I know. I mean, I've full disclosure. I said to him, I know I want to do big events for him, and you know, and then
It's coming, you know. I
yeah.
mean, I've been told by a lot of psychic mediums that I have the capabilities of doing mass healings.
Yeah,
Yes.
you
They
do.
see it. Um, I feel it. They've showed it to me a little bit, and it's pretty crazy. It kind of hurts me, so I'm not quite ready yet for
It
that.
hurts you
They're
physically?
they're building my energy, my internal
Okay.
energy. They actually congratulated me about 3 months ago, and they said, you know, at this show we were testing you.
Oh,
I knew exactly what they were talking about, and they said, you know, congratulations because you have taken the largest amount of our energy any human being ever has taken from us
wow.
without passing out.
That's
So I'm like,
that's
my response to that, because I'm kind of a smarty pants, I said, well, is that all you got?
ah,
Bring it on.
I was just
Be
thinking.
careful what
Yeah,
you ask for.
yeah,
Teach your
be,
mother
yes,
of the night.
Yes. So there's been a few lessons between then and now.
yeah.
I'm sure because Source
No,
does
They
have
that
a
have
makes him, right?
great sense of humor, and yep, they would run.
they have amped it up. And it's interesting because I have a friend of mine that does dowsing for me, and she can connect with the other side very quickly. And I guess she's been asked to help me so I can have
Oh,
conversations with them when I need to. In the last conversation, they know about the shows, and they said, well, the next 3 shows that you're doing, we're going to change your energy up a little bit. I
okay.
said, well, what does that mean exactly? And they said, well, you'll find out when
I,
you get to your shows. Just take notice that people are going to take notice of what you're doing now,
That's wonderful.
which is true because it started, I think, in the DC show. A lot of people took notice. We had an interesting weekend there.
that's
So
very,
I'm excited. I'm excited to see
yeah.
what's next.
Are you tired at the end of the day after the show?
No, not at all. It does
Wow.
not drain me one bit. It's
Beautiful.
Universal
the
energy.
one touch program that I do. It does drain me a little bit. It makes me tired because I am standing. I broke my back several years ago, so I have a hard time standing for a long time.
Yeah.
Other than that, no. The energy does not drain me. It doesn't hurt me. I'm used to it. I get asked that a lot.
Mm.
I sweat a lot because when I do the one touch program, the energy is so high. It's a different frequency.
Mhm.
And that's direct from source. So it's very powerful. And I only have, 30 seconds to a minute to impress someone or to change their life. And it has happened. I have some testimonials about that.
That's amazing.
Very
That's
cool. I was
beautiful.
going to ask something and I forgot what it was now.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Before you forget again,
Okay.
don't forget
Okay.
mine. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Do you remember everything that happens in your sessions with people, or are you kind of out?
For the most part, yes, I do
Okay.
remember most of my healings.
Yes.
My other half, Leah, said I should be taking notes and jotting them down for one day I can write a book.
Oh, yeah. You
I've
certainly.
I've had some wild healings,
Many
Yeah, I mean, a
times.
crazy
bunch
healings.
of books, really. Okay. But so
Yeah.
did we so you are giving them some intuitive things as you're healing them now? You say you could use your clairvoyance
Some
sometimes
Sometimes, yes. I
if
mean,
needed.
I try not to use the clairvoyance while I'm doing the healing work
Got
because it interferes, really does.
Oh, okay.
My
Interesting.
my gift is my ability to step aside. I mean, I had a
Okay,
gentleman
got it.
once.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
I had
So
a gentleman come up to me that could see, and he says, "Do you realize that you're out of body when you're doing this one touch
That's
healing?"
that's
right.
what I was
So,
wondering if that's if you were stepping aside and
Yes, and
letting.
letting the energy come.
right,
Yeah,
that's part of the gift. I just allow it to happen.
that's beautiful.
Hey.
Right, and that's why you don't get tired too. That's
Yeah, true.
Are
And
there
I usually play music in the background that distracts me. It's really not
what
for the
type of
clients.
music? What's your type of music?
I play angelic music. It's
Okay.
all crystal bowls and things like that. Um, the soundtrack that I use, I downloaded, and the one I'm using right now, everybody loves it because it's very relaxing. It's a very relaxing thing that I do too.
oh
People wake
sure.
up and they're like, I don't want to get up off the table.
Of
They're like,
course.
can I stay? And I'm like, no, you gotta go.
Right.
I'm
Next, somebody's
curious,
waiting.
any healers that are on the planet or that have been recently that you relate to?
Are there any healers that I can relate to?
Yeah, that are past or present that have done big work on the planet.
Well, I was asked once by Spirit if I knew John of God
Oh,
in
okay,
Brazil.
That's what I
that's
was.
Dina's been to the Casa many times. All right.
So,
So
And
that's
we all
why.
kind of know where he went. he was channeling entities, and that was the problem. And it made him do crazy things. So they took his power away. I was told I was 20 times more powerful than he'll ever be.
He was doing it for
So
5 years before that happened. So just think
He
about
did.
how
yes,
many people you are going to see in effect. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
yeah. I mean, I do get readings from some psychic mediums. I know so many people come up to me and they just offer me readings. So
Of
I'm
course.
like, yeah, go ahead. And also Spirit kind of has warned me what my future is going to bring. And yes, it is going to explode. It's going to explode this
I was
year.
gonna say, do you even need a psychic
Um,
reading if you have direct contact? I mean, I would like, yeah.
right.
Hi, Deb and I just wanted to take a moment and say thank you for joining us. We hope that you're appreciating all of the guests that we're bringing you, and we wanted to ask you to please remember to subscribe below and like us so we can continue to bring more guests and take a deeper dive.
And send us comments if you have any feedback. We would love to hear from you.
And they warn me all the time, be careful what you wish for. Because
Right.
I'm not going to be, eventually I won't be able to go anywhere because everyone's going to know who I am. They're going to try to touch me. They're
We'll
going to
say
try to
we
poke
even
me.
when. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. We can
Yeah,
get you some
this is true.
bodyguards. We're good with that. I got like a big
They go,
huge son.
Good,
I
he
know.
knows plenty.
there you go.
That's true. He knows plenty, right? Tina's
Well,
from
I'm a pretty big guy myself, so I don't think anybody's going to come charging at me.
Are you
But
big? Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Tell
6'3",
when you're
280.
saying more. Right.
I have
Yeah,
a
it's hard.
quick question. So your hands go on fire the day you get divorced. Now,
Yes,
your life changes completely. Not only are you a divorced
absolutely.
man now, but now you are stepping into your path. But
Right.
I need to know, did your ex-wife think that you were out of your mind, or
She kind of knew what I was doing because I did a couple of healings on her.
okay?
But yeah, she's we don't really talk anymore.
No.
It's a long story.
Not to get
But my own kids don't really talk to me either because they're terrified of what I do.
Oh.
And they're both clairvoyants, super clairvoyants.
that will change.
I was
I,
just
I
gonna
had I
say,
had to teach them
They
how
will
to
change.
silence it because they were getting annoyed more by Spirit than anything.
Yeah.
So I did teach them both how to quiet it down and ask them to leave and leave them alone.
Mhm.
But they don't really talk about what I do, and the rest of my family thinks I'm nuts, but that's okay.
that's all right.
I'm- you're
It'll
gonna
change.
get them.
It's all
I,
gonna
I get a
change.
lot of critics in what I do,
Yeah.
Sure, we
and
know, we understand it. I mean,
there's a lot of people that just don't quite understand what I do.
or they're afraid.
I give you an example on my. I just built a new tent. I had it made for me, custom built. I designed it personally, and on the inside of the tent, I put a white lion with a white lamb. That represents God and
Sure.
Jesus,
Jesus,
the
yeah.
Lamb of God.
Yes.
In the back of the tent, I have these golden wings that come up from my back, so it looks like they're mine.
Okay.
That was done deliberately. It's
Yeah.
kind of an inside joke.
Right.
But on the left side, I put a baby Buddha with his head tilted, and it's really cute. And I had a Christian lady come up to me, and she was really angry. She's like, "Why do you have a Buddha in there?" So I'm like, "Well, this is neither a religious thing,
Right.
it's a spiritual thing. So I want people to understand that it's open to all religious people. I don't care what your background is. This is a
Nobody's
spiritual
God.
event."
Right. Nor
Nobody's
does God.
And
Right. Of course.
right. And she got all annoyed. She canceled her
Yeah,
appointment. She
it's
walked out.
so
I was like,
weird.
well, you know what? That's your business. But everybody else loves the tent. There's
You
hidden
get-
messages in my tent, and
You're gonna get a lot
on
of
the
people like that. I mean, I get them all the time.
yeah,
Oh, how do you do this? Like, this is against. It says in the Bible. I'm like, no, it doesn't.
yeah,
Yeah, but
exactly.
yeah,
I mean, I was raised a Roman Catholic,
yeah.
but I don't go to
Us
church.
too.
I don't participate in any of that.
Yeah.
I got some family that are Southern Baptists.
Oh, okay. That's
So
lovely.
we got them all over the place. But
Right.
I have Christian friends, I have Jewish friends.
Right.
It's
Matter. It's
everybody just
respectful. It's not,
doesn't question what I do.
right.
And the ones that do, I just invite them to the bench. I say, hey, get on my table. I'll
Right.
show you.
Love it.
I love
People
you
can
so
block what
much
I
in
do.
life. It's
Yeah. It's
so
awesome.
refreshing, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people just don't. So a lot of people just don't understand what it is. They have
Of
a hard
course.
time.
That's why we're here.
You know.
That's why this is what I mean, we've been doing this for over 20 years, trying to get the word out about this. It's just
Yes.
trying to
I
educate
had a
people.
I had a male friend of mine. He's super Christian, and he doesn't understand. He goes, "Well, why would Jesus give the power of healing to one man on earth right now?"
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, "Well, you do realize that back in his time, he gave that power of healing to 12 people. They were called apostles.
Right.
So why couldn't it work now?"
Right.
And it's not just
Maybe,
one person. There's right.
Right.
yeah, maybe I'm a reincarnation of one of them. Who knows?
Uh,
Makes
yeah.
sense. I mean, even you think about it. But it's from what I was told, they give this particular gift that I have. He gave it to 4 people. 3 people failed miserably at it.
Oh,
And John of God was one of them.
oh.
I don't know who the other 2 were, but right now it's just me.
Okay.
And they said there will be more of me coming down the turnpike.
Yeah.
They are going to activate other people to do what I do,
Mhm.
but for now they're just working with me. So that's kind of exciting.
It's a
It's a
huge
lot of pressure.
responsibility.
Yeah, I was just gonna
You know,
say it
as
is.
you
It
get
it
better,
is.
seeing millions
It
of
changes. It changes
Yes.
your whole life. My whole life is different now. I mean, I've lost friends. I've lost family over this. I'm doing God's work. That's
That's
how I
right.
look at it.
And you just have to
That's
stay
right. And everybody is
focused
where
on
they
that.
are at and where you're
That's right.
coming from. You
Yes,
have love for them for wherever
exactly.
and
Right.
compassion. And
And
that's a big lesson.
for
Yeah.
as many negative naysayers, I get hundreds of positive results. So
Right.
the work speaks for itself.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I've actually said to one person who was kind of doubting what I did, I was like, "Well, how do you explain all those testimonials on my website?"
Right.
I couldn't even make them up. They're so outrageous, some of them. I mean, I've worked on, you name it, I've worked on them. I've worked on surgeons in Miami.
Oh, cool.
And I have doctors that come to me,
Hmm.
and I've cured them of their disease or whatever their affliction was. And then they come back to me next year and next year. And, this has been going for years now. So,
Yeah. What do they
and
say?
I can't,
They say
and I
that.
don't make any claims that I can heal everybody, because you
Of
can't.
course.
That's some people are living out Akashic records and you can't heal them. I actually have a very dear friend of mine who is living an Akashic record, because I asked, of course, because I love him. He's like a brother to me, but I cannot help him.
Uh,
And that's just the way it is,
right.
you know?
Right.
So it's not going to work for everybody.
Right. I remember
For the ones that it does work for, it's fantastic.
that's
Right.
right.
You
I
were-
know one of my friends, healer, I shared my story with you when we spoke. He always said to me, I can heal 4 out of 5. You can't heal that 5th one because it's not God's will. It's not what's supposed to
Right.
happen.
And
So,
if people don't want to be healed,
right.
it's
Well,
not going
yeah.
to happen. So one
Yeah.
of the things that I do now, and this is something that Spirit asked me to do, the first question out of my mouth when you're laying on a massage table in front of me is, I have Spirit here. They're asking me to ask you if you'd like to be healed today.
Wow.
And
And
if
does
they
that
don't answer me, I
Yeah.
nudge them. I say, you have to answer the question, yes or no.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I say, they're asking for permission to come through. Do
Okay.
we have your permission? Once they give me permission, it's boom, game on.
Yeah. Nice.
And it's funny because some people I get 6 inches away from them with my hands, and they close their eyes and I can see rapid eye movement under their eyelids, and I already know that they're already connected to source. So it's
That's
like,
great.
well, I'll ask you those questions in a little while. Just nod your
Right.
head.
That's great. Oh, they're open. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Easier.
So are you primarily just on the East Coast right now, or are you traveling
Yes. So right now we travel from like New York to Florida. We do go as far west as Memphis. We've done a couple of shows in Memphis, and Cincinnati is a big area for us. Jersey, Washington, D.C., we're going to be going back. When I was there, I felt a lot of negative energy. There's a lot of negative energy in that town, and there's a lot of people that need to be healed.
Okay.
So we will definitely be going back to New Jersey. We've already signed up for the Heart of Oneness show next year.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we'll
I want
be
to bring you
here.
here before that. If you have time.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
But yeah, my schedule
Sure.
constantly changes. I wasn't going to do anything for the summer. I was going to take the summer off, but then,
Yeah, not allowed.
Spirit always motivates me with the sandal. I get whacked, and they tell me to sign up for more shows. There's a Jesus joke there.
That's
awesome.
great.
That's awesome. How we doing?
What?
Yes, how we?
Oh, we're good. I was gonna ask something else and it just went out of my head.
I keep doing that to you. I'm sorry.
I know, that's all right. Do you have any like words of wisdom for people, or any kind of I don't know, a tidbit or a tool or something that people can take away.
Um,
I'm not
well,
saying it all, but you know what I mean.
I think first and foremost, with a lot of the spiritual groups that you see out there that want to get together and do cacao ceremonies and ayahuasca, please don't.
Yeah.
Just don't do it. It is not a way to enlightenment.
No.
It is not going to get you closer to God. It does just the opposite, and people don't understand that.
Okay.
And I guess my message would be, if you do it, you'll be seeing me.
Okay. Well, at least you're there. Great.
But yeah, I mean, it's everybody is waking up. This is wonderful. I
Yes.
think everybody needs to just move up with the energy into the next dimension. It's wonderful to be up in the fifth dimension. I mean, I go a lot higher than that, but
Right.
that's just because it's me. I mean, I have to.
Yes, but
I wanted to hear him finish saying that.
oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's
Did I? Yeah, like, right. We know everybody's got to level up or what, like you said.
Right.
Is there anything they can
Yeah,
do?
just
Yeah.
yeah, meditate. I get yelled at constantly for not meditating enough, and
Really unique.
I'm very gifted as a meditator too, because I can meditate in a split second. I mean, I can literally just say, I'll be right back, and just close my eyes, and I get connected very quickly to source because I have a very deep connection to them. But yeah, if you meditate and watch out for all those colors and crazy signs that you see, it's all great.
When you host a group, are you working with each person in the group?
Yes, when I do the One Touch program, I kind of tell my story like I did in the beginning here, and I make a lot of jokes just to kind of relax everybody. And then I do a One Touch where I tell them to just line up in the middle. And usually it's the first one or two guests that really get hammered hard. I get back on the microphone and I'll say, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, but
Yeah,
Sir Jesus is here in the background, so you're going to be feeling Christ consciousness. Don't get scared." And when they feel it, they react to it. Most people cry.
But do you have
I
to
cry.
each one, or could you just send it out like to the room or?
No, I can send it out to the room. That's one of the reasons why when I start doing the One Touch program, everybody starts coming in from the venue.
Right,
Because
because
they
how could
feel
you get
that energy.
Yeah, thousands of people, like if you had them.
Right. And I've been told, by source that eventually I'll just be able to raise my hands and work a whole crowd,
That's right.
which would be wonderful. I mean, I would love to do that because it would give me the opportunity to help more people.
Absolutely. I mean, heal the masses, like.
Right.
And you did mention,
I mean,
earlier you had made mention of doing something else for work, like you have something else, but at some point, I'm sure you're seeing your path, right? You said that you did something else,
yes.
but there's not going to be room to be doing anything else.
No, I think this is going to be the last year that I can do my other business.
Okay. I didn't know.
It really does. I'm kind of weaving like a very fine line right now between this and my other job.
Yes.
But eventually the healing stuff will take off, and people will call me for events, which I will be happy to do. Because that's what it's all about. I just want to try to help as many people as I can.
Oh, well, I already know. I already asked him when I first met him in the first 2 weeks I knew, right? I
That
did.
would be terrific.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk about
I mean, the making money is just the bonus part of it.
That's right. That's right.
But no, I explain it to this way to a lot of people. Eventually, yes, people are going to pay a lot of money to get me to do healings on them. And for those that can afford to pay that kind of money, that's great. But guess what? I'm the same guy that's going to walk into a church on a Sunday and do a healing for the church.
Yeah, I mean,
free.
Yes, that's what you do, of course.
Right, because I love to give back.
So,
and if I got that kind of notoriety or fame where I could walk into a church and just do it, I would do it. No questions asked. I would actually do a couple of them because I just love helping people.
Right. We always
worked with, the poorest of the poor and the beggars and
right.
So
right. And I think that Source really understands that about me, because they've tested me over and over, and they know that, I do give back. I give back all the time. At my shows, if I hear someone say, "Oh, I can't afford that," I will step out of the tent and go, "Wait a second, sign up anyway. There'll be no charge." You know, or sometimes I'll see a child walk by that's afflicted by something. I'll always tell Leah, hey, go run after that mom and have her bring her daughter back here. I want to do a healing on her and tell her it's free. Because I can tell by just looking at someone if they need that healing.
Right.
That's where the clairvoyance kicks in. And I'm like, wow, that person needs me so badly. I do everything. You name it, I've seen it and I've worked on it.
It's amazing.
So, and they're very appreciative, you know, and they can't afford it. So
Yeah.
it's like, no problem. You don't have to, oh, let me tip you. I was like, no, you don't have to. I mean, I had a gentleman, it was about 4 shows ago. He booked an appointment between Saturday and Sunday. So he called me Saturday for a Sunday appointment. He actually called me. He said somebody had gotten my card, and he came in and he was in a wheelchair. And I was like, whoa, this guy was in a lot of pain. He had knees bad. He had braces on. I felt so bad for this guy. He was in so much pain to get onto my table. The sessions are 20 minutes. I worked on this guy for over an hour. And he was really struggling. And I said, does it hurt? He says, yes, it hurts like hell. I says, good. He goes, what do you mean? I said, that means they're healing it. Whatever it is, suck it up. Take as much of this as you can.
Wow.
So at the very end, he was sweating profusely. I mean, he was a little overweight, but at the end, once I stopped, he goes, oh my God. I go, what? He goes, my knee. It feels great.
Yep.
He goes, it was screaming in pain when you had your hands on it, but now I can stand up on it. This man was in tears. I mean, he literally broke down into tears. His wife, and they wanted to pay me. I wouldn't take a dime from him.
Yeah.
And he says, well, let me at least give you a tip. I said, no. That was on spirit. That was from them.
That was your tip, right? Just that beautiful feeling.
That was it. Just to see your face and your expression. Thank you so much.
Wow.
That's
And he walked out.
Love it.
And he wasn't hobbling when he left, so it was good.
Wow. Awesome. That's awesome. You want to ask him about your back now? I don't know. Could we put you on the spot for Dina's back?
Oh,
Yeah, if you want to call me for a private, I can do it, definitely. We'll reach out to your back. I won't charge anything.
Well, that's
again, I feel as I said before, we should honor people for their gifts and their
That's
sharing
right.
of it and pass the blessing along. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
But,
Thank you for taking
That's
the
lovely.
time.
This
We
was
know you
awesome.
have to get
Sure.
to the show. We don't. I mean, we could talk to you for hours, but
We'll see you.
yeah, we're hopefully, yeah. I'll when you have a few minutes of downtime, maybe we can talk and figure out when we can bring you here. We have
Absolutely.
yeah.
I hope
So
that
excited.
I
almost
and
want to
don't
go to
think you ever
Florida to
will
see you.
change, but I hope that you are laughing and spreading joy as you grow and do this the way that you are today. That you're doing this
Oh, absolutely.
because you are just welcoming and fun and
Yeah.
and I hope it always stays that way for you.
I hope so too. I like to keep it fun. You know, speaking of which, I had a client fly from Chicago to St. Pete to see me at a Spirit Fest show.
You're going to have a lot of that.
Yeah.
You are going to be
That's my furthest. Well, the event organizers always flip out because sometimes they'll come and ask for me at the show entrance. They'll say, "Is that angelic guy here?" And
that's
they're like,
great.
we came all the way from Daytona, or we came from Jacksonville, and it's a show in Sarasota. So yeah, we've gotten a lot of that. I've been told I'm one of their more attractive vendors. So
absolutely.
a lot of people come in.
I have a question. You can do this remotely, right?
Yes, I can.
Of course. Okay, so people.
I haven't had a lot of time to do it remotely. I did a remote on someone up in Syracuse, New York. It did work. It was just fine. I've done them a couple 100 miles away. So yes, I can do it. I'm going to start doing it more
often.
often.
All over. I know you can. Yeah.
And it's something that I will start to offer.
Well, I love the fact that he likes
Yes.
I like that too.
I mean, why not? I do everything else.
We do. Especially after everybody wants to do everything remote. We love that.
Right.
And actually put your hands on them.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna.
Happens that you have a huge, amount of people from all over the world wanting to see you. Then
Right.
Unfortunately,
That's when my other career is going to go bye-bye.
It's coming soon.
And my other career I've been doing for 30 years, so I'm done.
Okay. You want to retire? Yes.
Yeah, definitely want to retire.
It's definitely coming soon.
Yep.
I hope so.
We're excited for you. Yes.
I have to keep doing more podcasts.
Okay. Well, we'll have you back anytime.
Absolutely. It was fun, ladies. I
Yes,
enjoyed it.
thank you, and have a great show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
The work you're doing.
And
Yes.
keep looking at my website. Can I say the name of my website on your
Of course,
podcast?
We put it up anyway, but
Yes,
yes.
go ahead and
Oh,
say
okay. Yeah, it's patrickangelichealer.com.
Beautiful.
And I just figured out how to add videos to my website because I'm not computer savvy, but
We have
I
like
eventually
I'll
I
send you
four
this one.
production people here. They have, we'll send you this. Yes, we'll send you everything.
yeah.
So if you ever need
And
any help,
so
we've got some great people.
I uploaded some stuff and I've made some changes, and I am now going to start doing exit videos with people just to get some really cool testimonials,
That's
because
great. Absolutely.
people have questioned some of the testimonials because there are some on there that are pretty outrageous. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start doing video testimonials.
There
How
you
about
go.
that?
I love it too. That's great.
Solves that problem right
Well,
there.
That's
So
don't
they're
right.
pay any
live.
mind to the naysayers. Don't even
Yeah.
think about it. They will be over.
They don't bother me.
You just
I think one of the reasons why Jesus picked me to do this is because I've got really thick skin. I am a former
Oh,
New
good.
Yorker, so
That's right. Yes, we have to
I
say
can take it.
originally from Long Island. That's right.
That's right. So they
Awesome.
can say all they want. I'm going to be a tough guy.
Yeah. Keep up the good work.
thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right,
Talk
ladies.
to you
Many
soon.
blessings to you both.
You
Thank you,
too.
Patrick. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All righty.
And we'll see you next time on our Evolving Consciousness.